We asked, and you answered. Getting some feedback on a short we put out last week. While there's a lot of editorializing about things like data caps, I think it's important to check in and ask people what their experiences have actually been. Do you really need more than 1 terabyte of data? Here are your replies. And whether you have a data cap or not, we'd certainly appreciate you budgeting some megabytes every month to keep up with all the work here on reviews.org. Get all those subscription buttons underneath this video. In putting this question out there, I feel we got a fairly broad collection of replies. Starting off with Marcus, I stream HD and 4K. I haven't gotten close to 1 terabyte. And Joshua followed up with, most people don't use more than 600 gigabytes of data unless all you do is download and update. Those two comments together were interesting because household doesn't reflect how many people might live in each household. So when we get to Steve's comment, he expands on that idea. These days, unless you live alone and use only one device at a time, you need 1 terabyte. I used to live alone and by myself would go through up to 300 plus gigabytes a month. That was before there was a lot of 4K streaming going on. Most was 480p to 1080p. Now, not only is there a lot more 4K content, but a lot of it streams in Dolby Atmos sound, which adds a lot more to the stream. So no, 1 TB is not enough for most households. I think a couple people tapped into the obvious reason why I was asking this question today. A lot of these caps were instituted pre-pandemic, and I think it's fair to say a bit of our online behavior has changed over the last 2 years. Bob wrote in, my wife and I work at home and subscribe to YouTube TV and have some basic smart home functions. We were with our local cable internet provider who capped the data at 1 terabyte before increasing it to 1.25 terabytes. We broke through every month, so we switched to a provider that is unlimited data with no throttle. So I guess what it meant to us was we left because they would not increase the monthly data. And OU8Y2K2 cut right to the point. 1 terabyte caps are pointless. We've hit them in our household several times. Now they're 1.2 terabytes due to the pandemic's work from home culture. IMHO, when speeds were at 6 megabits per second, the unwritten cap was 200 gigabytes at Comcast. They would throttle you after that. It only follows that with speeds at 400 megabits per second, the cap should be 13.34 terabytes per month. And to round out the conversation, we got a couple comments talking about streaming behavior. True Flight said, thankfully the companies here have not adopted these caps. We go over 1 terabyte here every month, sometimes 2 terabytes easily. It would be annoying and near impossible to do anything with such restrictive caps. I think it might be possible for a single person living alone to get by with 1 terabyte, but certainly not a family of 4 or more with multiple devices connected. And Divot commented on their cap, but their cap's quite a bit higher. I watch all of my videos in 4K, but it's only me in my 4-person house who does that. All the others watch in 1080p only. I also have a PS5 and PS Plus and a lot of games in my online library, so that's another way my data gets drained. I have a 3.3 terabyte data cap though, but it hits the 1.5 terabyte mark every time. 1 terabyte data caps are very outdated in 2021 IMO. And lastly, The Little B broke down one of the concerns a lot of us share about caps. When I had at&t, I elected to have the 1 terabyte data cap to save money and never went over. I got somewhat close a few months. I used Stream Saver features on all my streaming services. When I felt I was close, I stopped backing up to the cloud as often. Was the biggest change I made because of the cap. My current ISP, Quantum, offers high speed up and down 940 megabit per second with no cap, and I feel grateful for it. I changed the quality settings up on all my streaming services. I wanted to close with that last comment because for me it highlights the extra mental energy required to stay under a data cap. The constant consideration of how you might use each service and how that maintenance is up to the user. I really appreciated the variety of comments on this one. Obviously, this wasn't a topic where we'd see a debate. No one was going to pop in and be like, I love my data caps. But I was honestly curious if we'd see more apathetic comments. Shrug, it does not bother me, and shrug. So the conversation continues as we look to a more connected future, as we work to provide better access to more communities. and we hopefully get back to stringing some more fiber to home, we'll have to keep an eye on how companies meter or throttle connections for the next generation of services. And you can keep up the chatter down in the comments on this one too. If you're currently with a provider that has some kind of data cap or data throttle, does it change the way you use your online services? As always, thanks so much for watching, sharing, subscribing to the channel. Make sure to keep up with all of the reviews.org team here and around the social media. Some fun live streams, contests, and giveaways are coming up soon. For reviews.org, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, and I'll catch you all on the next video.